Hello and welcome to another episode of Mini R&D Podcast. Today with Adi Tamches, our designer from the GX team.
Yes, thank you. Thanks. Nice being here.
Yeah, and thanks for actually making the time because I know you have a flight in a bit. So
Yeah.
let's do it on the first go. So maybe tell us a little bit about you. I mentioned that you're a designer in the GX team, but what does it mean and what did you do before?
All right. So I'm a senior product designer on the guest experience team and especially on the guest portal, which is responsible for the online check-in, online checkout, this kind of stuff. But we all operate as a team, so we have cross products initiatives. And before that, I used to work in very small startups, stealth startups, and also like big ones, mainly in fintech, a little bit in cybersecurity. So I did like all kinds of stuff. I love learning and
And I know you've led people before. You've been an IC. So are you enjoying the IC role now?
Yeah, I love designing. I like solving problems. So whether they're like for the users or for people that, but yeah, in general. And for the time being, now I'm an IC and I really enjoy it.
Nice. So I always tell to people when they ask me, what does Mews do? Well, obviously I tell them hospitality, but I said we are a B2B company with a pinch of B2C. Would you say it's a correct way of saying things?
Well, for me, for my day to day, it's the other way around. But
True.
yeah,
In the bigger picture.
Yeah, in the bigger picture, I think that the heavy lifting is actually the B2B side and the PMS that we're facilitating. But we also want to address the users of our users, which are the guests. So it's only like the end of the touch point, and we try to be as like frictionless as possible. So for the guests, sometimes it might not even be visible.
Yeah,
and
they don't need to know that they're on Mews.
Yeah. So we do have this pinch, as you say.
Do we ever use the kind of abbreviation B2B2C, or that's too much of a stretch?
No, I think it's pretty accurate. Depends on the context, but yeah.
So how does it differ in the B2B and B2C world? And maybe you can go in more general, but also with a specific example of Mews.
So I think the first thing that comes to mind, at least from the design aspect, is it's a different user, different challenges, different needs, different problems that we need to solve. So for the PMS, for the B2B, it's a staff member, somebody who is the PMS is a tool, so they know it. I think our optimization is for them for the ease of use. They already know, so it's okay, and they need to get the information fast, need to make decisions. So that's the main goal with the PMS, which is completely different for a guest who doesn't know the system at all. So they can be just one-timers. They don't even know it's Mews, obviously, and they need to have a great experience. So it's way better, way more important than just achieving their goals or tasks for the same day.
How do emotions of the individual users come in play? Because, when I'm B2C, I can get really angry real fast if, my screen doesn't work. So does that come in play, in this?
Yeah, as a designer, I think all of us are humans and all of us want to have like delight experiences. So I would try to input as a designer in both, but that's true. I think there's less tolerance for errors, I would say, in the B2C side. So we need to keep that in mind. And it's not enough to be good. We need to be excellent.
So let's look at kind of maybe different goals and metrics because you mentioned there are different challenges, different things that you need to solve. So what would you say about that when you talk about B2B and B2C?
I think, goals for us is to create a lot of clarity and a lot of trust within the system because the users don't know it, whether the hotel staff already know Mews. So trust is less of an issue for us on the PMS side. That's a very big focus for us to accomplish. What else? In both, we want to create a low friction, but sometimes in the PMS, we want to do the other way around. So we might add more friction to automate some tasks, but to make sure that the staff doesn't like bulk testing things that they don't need to. While for the guests, they do just like a one-time thing, but you can make like more tiny animations or like more, the layout can breathe a little bit more so they can like enjoy it while they're doing it because it's only one time that they're experiencing it.
Does user disengagement apply to B2C as well, or is that more of a B2B concept?
I think it does. It's like when you take an Uber, you don't necessarily exactly know when you're gonna pay. You just know you do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the point of us wanting to give like a good experience, but you need to tap in when you need to or not too much. So we do want to disengage. This is also what we want to have for the hotels themselves. We want for the users not to be preoccupied with check-in lines and manual task for the staff. We want them to enjoy the hotel and as much of it, right? So the disengagements also apply there.
So, and how much are you involved in kind of hospitality yourself? Were you kind of, before you joined Mews, were you avid backpacker and you enjoyed hostels, or do you like some different type of hotels, or were you a big hotel user before coming?
I wouldn't say a big hotel users, but I enjoy hotels. And I think as a designer, like your mindset shift and you see everything like from that angle. So obviously everything that is supposed to make me like feel better visually, aesthetically is something that I take care of. And so going to hotels, when I was younger, I didn't have any money for the hotel. So it was backpacking, and I traveled like with the backpack. So staying. And I think, I love this field because it's something that you notice a lot when it's not going well, and the sky is not the limit, and you need to like push yourself.
But it's also like a little bit of a TripAdvisor effect, right? When things go right, you don't tend to kind of comment on it.
Yeah.
And only when it goes wrong, you go to TripAdvisor and say, this was a terrible experience.
Exactly. So I think, sometimes when we don't get any praise, that's my cue that everything goes well, because, people take that for granted. But I think we can also create like more delight moments into our customers and our guests' experience on a day-to-day basis.
Have you used Mews as a client? Have you stayed in a Mews operated hotel and finalized check-ins, etc.?
Yeah, I now do it. I came to Prague 3 days ago, and I immediately ran to the kiosk, to the tablet, and tried to check in. And then the guy at the reception said, like, "What are you doing?" Like, "I want to check in." And it's like, it's not check-in time yet.
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, do you have early check-in maybe?" And and then he kind of told me like I should go back later. So eventually everything was manual, but I was really eager to test it out as a guest, but I also did a lot of testing in field. Like
I wonder if they use our housekeeper app, because they could have already known if your room is empty, and they could have sell you.
So he checked. He actually checked. It was really nice, and nice. I didn't have any space then. He said they're like full, but I should come back later.
And when it comes to research, because I know that designers, your main job is to do research and to understand your customer needs. So how do you do that with the clients of the hotels? Because maybe tell us a little bit how the PMS research goes on, because I know it's not your domain, but you will probably know.
Yeah.
But how that differs, because it must differ so much how you acquire how you acquire people to test it, etc.
Yeah. So I think it's more remote, and it's more challenging to test for the end users. You have more heavy lifting on analytics and data, because you can't really talk to the guests themselves. You can do guerrilla field. We did, not me specifically, but the GX did the guerrilla, for example, for loyalty programs. So just walking into a random hotel and then start conversation with guests and asking them about loyalty programs and what would they appreciate, and do they have ones, and so on. And everything feeds into our research. For the PMS, we can do more interviews. We always try to have beta release and get feedbacks, and have like a constant back and forth with our customers to make sure that we're designing the right thing. And by the way, from the GX team, we also designing part of the PMS of how to set up the guest experience. So as a designer, I do touch the PMS and the products themselves for the B2C side. So for examples, if we have different ways to show upsells for the guests. So on the PMS side, we need to set it up. So now we're like in the process of improving that. And we had 2 roundtables with customers. One was in Amsterdam, one was in Antwerp, when we get like the raw feedback, what they like, what they don't like, and that feds directly into the iterations.
How does it feel when you kind of sit there and you listen to the honest feedback? I'm sure you want to hear the honest feedback, but we all have egos, so how does it feel when
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it because if somebody shows me that I did something wrong, that gives me the possibility to like fix it. And I think in general, but that's like my personal approach, I think ego should be out of the window. Like it's not mine, it's ours. So like we share the responsibility about it. And yeah, I think the ego is not. I want to do the right thing for people to actually use it. So
that's the end goal for every product, right? If you have a perfect product,
don't get attached too much. Like it's you can. There's a cemetery for designs in Figma for every designer.
Do we have that? Do you have do we call it?
I don't think officially. It's my term, but
okay, that's a good one. Actually, it's actually a good one. But I think what helps in your team, specifically in the GX, is that you have many professionals who went through being hoteliers before. We talked about it yesterday, actually, or 2 days ago, that there are even engineers who were hoteliers before they turned into engineers. So I think you get a lot of feedback from them as well, like kind of a first line of feedback, and then you can go to the real customers.
And we get a lot of insights before we even start a project for them. I think for getting actual feedbacks, I rather somebody to use the thing that I'm doing instead of giving their opinion. But yeah, I think that the fact that multiple discipline in the R&D actually has personal touch points to a hotelier, it's great.
What's your view of dogfooding of the product, to use it kind of internally? Because we actually use Mews. I don't know if you know, but we book our parking spaces with Mews. So how's your approach to this? Do you like it? Have you done it in your previous jobs? And should we do more of it? Should we have kiosks around the office?
I don't know what you need to check into, but yes, if you I don't know, check in for rooms, for meetings, I think we should. You have a different mindset when you're you need to rush, you don't have the time, you're late or something, then that's the point where you can simulate an actual user and step into their shoes instead of being next to your desk and checking things where you know exactly where each button is and how to operate it. So of course, using like dogfooding is always great. And
maybe to wrap things up, is there any project that you're working on that you really kind of enjoy now, and it's like something that you're like, okay, this is gonna be great?
There's several. I think that our OKR for this year is to help with activation. We grew rapidly, and we kind of with each new feature, we're like, okay, where we should place it. So it kind of created like this monster thing. So now we're in the process of arranging everything and how to destruct like the reverse engineering everything in order to like recreate it it's a very interesting process in my opinion. And also from the research perspective, also from like the iterations and feedback. We also have like a cross teams collaboration. So it's outside of GX. So I'm getting like more perspective from elsewhere. So it's a very big project, but it's a very interesting one. And I really hope it will turn out really good. But we're just in the beginning of it. But yeah,
nice. Adi, thanks for joining us. This was a quick one, as always. Have a safe trip.
Thank you.
And as always, if you are in Mews, you can definitely talk to Adi or me on Slack. And if you're not, I'm sure Adi will answer to you on LinkedIn, and I will do the same if you reach out to us. Thank you, and thank you for watching.